Hey y'all, I have another story time to tell. I need to make a series of story times, but still in my car, from the other story time that I just did. But here's another story time. So, and I'm 40. At the time of this story, I was 8. And yeah, it's like, do you really remember when you was 8? Yes, I do. Because most of the time you remember traumatic things. And this was kind of traumatic. When I was 8 years old, I had got some money from my grandmother. Where I lived was like in a split block, and the corner store was half a block from my house, and it was a short block, so it wasn't far. Like from my steps on my house, you can see the store. You can see me actually walk into the store. That's how close it was. Um, so at 8 years old, I walked to the store, got my little candy, whatever, walking down, and then I'm coming back home, and there was a white van parked up across the street from my house. I want to say 4 houses up from my house, but across the street. And this white man in the van was like, "Hey, little girl, you want some candy?" I looked at him like, "No, I don't want no candy." He was like, "I got a lot of candy in the back. You want to get in?" I was like, "I just came from the store buying candy. I don't want no candy." And he was like, "You sure?" I'm like, "I'm good." Well, I mean, obviously, "I'm good" wasn't the phrase at the time, but I'm like, "No, I don't want any candy." And I just walked in front of his van and went across the street to my house. So he didn't like try to jump out the car at me or anything like that. I just went home. So now as an adult, I realized, well, at the time I realized that I could have got kidnapped, but it took me maybe like 3 days to realize, because at school they announced this was like a Saturday. So at school on Monday, they announced that there's a kidnapper in the neighborhood, somebody approaching young children, and he's driving a van. Now, I didn't know better to be like, "Oh, the guy approached me. He was on my block. I know exactly what he looked like." Up until today, right now, I can describe the man. But he might be dead by now anyway, so I guess it doesn't matter. But at the time, uh, I was, I remember them saying, so now now as an adult, I'm like, yo, I really could have got kidnapped. I'm like, if my grandmother didn't give me money to go to the store, and I had just been outside like, damn, I wish I could get some candy, you know, if that man would have approached me like, "Hey, little girl, do you want some candy?" Would I have taken it? Would I have taken the candy from the guy and got kidnapped? Crazy, right? Well, that's story time number 2. I got another one to tell you too. All right, bye.